To talk more on the DIRCO's position on this situation, I'm now joined by Deputy Minister, Mr. Alvin Botha. Minister, or rather Deputy Minister, thank you so much for your time and good morning to you. We're hearing reports coming in that a ceasefire has come into effect between Israel and Palestine. What does this mean then to the department? Are you relieved? Could this be a sign that peace talks might just be progressive here?
Well, good morning to Melo and the viewers of eNCA. I think South Africa are elated that there is a cessation of hostilities in relation to the increased attack by the state of Israel against the vulnerable people of Palestine. I think we should be unequivocal as the South African government, Tumelo, that in this instance of conflict, there is a chief aggressor, and that chief aggression is being perpetuated by the state of Israel.
And with that being said, I mean, what's then been the role of the South African government throughout the entire conflict that we have witnessed? Children dying, rockets, being fired, airstrikes upon innocent, civilians. Besides just condemnation, what tangible intervention can the South African government say they have played a role in?
Well, what we have done, Tumelo, is we have identified the reality that diplomatic relations cannot continue unabated as if there is no crisis in Palestine. We therefore have recalled the ambassador of South Africa in Israel. That decision we took in May 2018. Of course, we are a key funder and supporter of the UN refugee agents that look at the plight of Palestine refugees. But more importantly, Terminal, we have maximized our diplomatic capacity, and we are supporting the role of the Egyptians in particular as it relates to the Cairo talks to bring about unity amongst the Palestine people. So that is what we do, from a diplomatic level.
Yeah, and with that being said, I mean, the definition of a ceasefire suggests that this is more of a temporary suspension of fighting. It's more of a truce, Deputy Minister. But I suppose my question to you is that through your involvement with the UN Peace Building Commission 2021-2022, how will you further, make use of your influence, even to the AU as well as the UN, to intervene in more permanent, intervention so that there is peace within the region?
Yes, Tumelo, what we are seized with, we have been seized with this matter as when we were a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council. We continue to be a very vocal proponent at all multilateral platforms, including the UN General Assembly and, of course, your UN Human Rights Council, where we are leading as South Africa in terms of the panel discussions to get everyone to ultimately agree that cessation of hostilities in Palestine means there's an obligation for the state of Israel to come back to the negotiating table as it relates to the 1967 border dispute. Because this is the central issue. It's about a law of occupation, is that you have occupation force. And what we're saying to the state of Israel is that it's about time now that we should come around the negotiation table, and so that the reality of a two-state solution, where you have a state of Israel that coexists along a state of Palestine.
Right. With that being said, Deputy Minister, I mean, you were recently criticized by the opposition, during the minister's address, Minister Naledi Pandor. We heard from the EFF, addressing some of the inconsistencies they've identified within the department, the likes of even the DA member, Darren Bergman, saying there's inconsistency in how South African, a DIRCO department particularly intervenes in matters, for example, from Western Sahara compared to neighboring Zimbabwe or even Uganda, etc. Would you say that that is the case, where you haven't been consistent in terms of intervention across the continent?
No, absolutely not, Tumelo. Look, our policy imperatives are predictable, and it's very certain under the leadership of Minister Pandor and President Ramaphosa. We have been consistent that global solidarity is one of your key pillar of your foreign policy imperatives of the South African government. we have said we err on the side of the most vulnerable. We are doing it, Tumelo, with the occupation by the Kingdom of Morocco as it relates to the plight of the people of Western Sahara is concerned. As it relates to Zimbabwe, we are continuing to engage using, of course, SADC as an instrument to unlock the economic sanctions perpetuated against the people of Zimbabwe. So our foreign policy has been certain, it has been predictable, but it always on the side of the most vulnerable, and that is key and critical for us.
We leave it there. Thank you so much. Deputy Minister of the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, that is Deputy Minister Alvin Portis.